We are in kind of deep today, but I think this deck is finally ready for the stream. I can't even remember when I started to talk about this deck. It's been like before Brothers War, maybe before Dominaria United 2. This deck has gone through a lot of different versions, and I feel like it's finally ready to make it to the stream. So this is a deck that is trying to delve out a 7-mana creature. Delve out a 7-mana creature, Murktide Regent or Gurmag Angler, and then Neoform it into a Griselbrand on turn 4 usually. Sometimes turn 3. And then after that you're gonna draw a bunch of cards, and then theoretically you're gonna be able to do it again, and you get a Tidespell Tyrant, and you just can control the board after that. And so one really important thing to note is, as powerful as Griselbrand is, the very powerful, it'll be an 8/8 +1 counter, pay 7 life, draw 7 cards, flying lifelinker. As powerful as this card is, you do need to be able to use the cards that you draw. You do need to be able to use the cards that you draw. And so that's why we're playing 4 Grief, 4 Force of Negation, so that when you do get a Griselbrand into play, you get to draw 7 or 14, Grief them once or twice, Force of Negation them once or twice. Is the idea that you get to turn those cards into meaningful interaction and start to control the board. Grief also helps you fight through hate. Force of Negation helps you fight through some more sorcery speed based disruption, like Rest in Peace and Blood Moon, of course. But what I really like about this deck, is its plan B. Its plan B is just casting Murktide Regents and Gurmag Anglers and playing, interaction. So obviously it doesn't do that as well as the blue-red Murktide deck does, but it's a pretty powerful plan B. The card quality in this deck is pretty high while having a generally high combo finish. I have tried a lot of versions of this deck. This deck, you might see, the deck name is Simic Neobrand. It started off as a Simic deck that was playing both Neoform and Eldritch Evolution, and was playing Tolarian Terror instead of Gurmag Angler. I ended up finding Tolarian Terror to have tension with Murktide Regent, and I also found it to be a card that you usually can't cast till turn 3, turn 4, especially for 1 mana, and I ended up thinking that Gurmag Angler was largely better. I also wanted some removal, and I also wanted access to Grief. I also found that Eldritch Evolution sucks. Well, weirdly, what the +1 counter from Neoform is actually super relevant in this deck, because it makes Griselbrand an 8/8 and able to trade for an opposing Murktide Regent, and so Eldritch Evolution is a whole extra mana, and the Griselbrand is still trumping opposing Murktides, and so I'm playing just 4 Neoforms. I was playing 4 Neoforms, 2 Profane Tutors. I'm down to just 1 Profane Tutor. I think with 4 Consider, 4 Otherworldly Gaze, you'll be able to find the Neoforms eventually. And one nice thing with this deck is while you're digging for the Neoforms, you're just putting big creatures into play and cantripping, interacting with your opponent, which is kind of nice. I think that those are the main thoughts here. I did hard cast a Tidespell Tyrant last night. Usually only do that after drawing a lot of cards with the Griselbrand. No Endurance? No copies of Endurance. No. You do not have really green cards to pitch, and double green is pretty difficult as well. Basic Forest. Guess it wouldn't be any worse than Swamp here. Be better than Swamp, actually. Not a grade 6. Not a grade 6. I think I'll go to 5. Alright, much better 5. Not sure exactly how I'm sequencing this, though. I think just I think just trying to turn to Murktide is maybe better than trying to turn to Angler. Although I can turn to Angler and cast all my spells. Yeah, let's put back Breeding Pool Murktide, and then just try to dig these for a Neoform. Swamp Expedition map, you don't say. Well, I bet this is dodging Fatal Pushes and the like, although stings to draw Archon of Cruelty. But if we can find a Neoform, we're gonna all will be well. All will be well. I could keep a Consider. I could consider keeping a Consider. The thing is, I don't think I've got the mana, and I think I really need to find the... I really need to find the Neoform as soon as possible. So I like being able to go Consider into Angler this turn. I need to have the Neoform for next turn. I guess I should have gotten... Oh, sorry, I just had... Never mind. This is a Sultai tribe now. Okay. The Stubborn Denial may buy me like a turn, especially if I draw land. We'll see, we'll see. Yeah, we I thought I double checked for 4 Misties. If I don't have 4 Misties, I'm gonna be so embarrassed because I looked. Yeah, we have 4 Misties. Get a Coffer is not super surprising. B8, they were 2 months. Appreciate you. Did I consider Mystical Dispute for Subtlety? Subtlety is just like not, in my opinion, common enough to want to play Dispute. Okay, this has been Profane Tutor. Play another map. Obviously, it sees some play, but just not enough, in my opinion. Good old Gurmag, Stubborn Denial, Tempo deck. Yeah, I mean, I think this card is not very good in Reanimator, but in this deck specifically, like, you are very willing to forego cards for fast speed and consistency. So they're getting their Profane Tutor off next turn, which means we need to draw our other stub, which is in the graveyard, or just Neoform right now. Although I guess now I can go attack for 5, and then get a second Gurmag Angler into play, and they probably don't have two. Oh, I guess I need to draw like a fetch land or a Grief to do that. But they probably don't have a second Damnation in the main. Milled over a Neoform. Alright. Maybe actually good to scoop here with this Profane Tutor coming down with them having 1,000,000 mana. Let me see what I get post board. Veil of Summer is probably pretty good, especially on the play. I want to see if they cast Invoke Despair. Then we know that we'll have that Veil for that. I think that's pretty likely their tutor target here. Needle's okay against them. It may be like a little fair, you know what I mean? You don't want to over sideboard. Thoughts on Bobble for faster delve? What do you cut for Bobble? I don't think there really is something. Dismember, 3 mana Dismember. Well, maybe we play on. Maybe we just might play on, huh? How is their hand so bad? I would love to like. They cast Profane Tutor. They didn't tutor for anything. They had nothing better to get. Golly. I mean, I'll just take the card that's not dead, I guess. Okay, so I could leave... No, I actually can't leave anything in the yard, can I? No, I can. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. So I could leave Otherworldly Gaze in the yard. This is a 6/6 right now. Flashback Otherworldly Gaze 7/7. I have to like mill 3 instants or sorceries off the gaze, and then draw a land, and then Gurmag Angler is technically lethal. But I think that the gaze of the yard is better than this like 1 point of power. That I even get the point of power back later. They may have gotten the second covers. No, they got the second covers off the second map. And then they drew 3rd Coffer's Return, I think. My opponent can take a... Can they take a Blast Zone to 8? Because to take a Blast Zone to 8 is 14 mana? They probably have enough. Or to 7, so it's 12 mana. Instead they're channeling Takenuma. Return no cards. Main deck Feed the Swarm. Why? Literally why. I think I'm going to try to draw Neoform, and then if I miss, I'll... I guess I could also, if I draw a land, I could also... Oh wow, we drew the Neoform. Unfortunately, the Archon's gone. I guess Archon's one short of lethal. What a game, huh? What a game. Just looking for a Force of Negation. We found a Force of Negation. I don't need a Grief here. I think we just... Shores go. So yeah, they need to draw a creature here. Legend Rule Urborg. What is happening? That's not a creature. So they don't have their Takenuma. Alright, alright. What a game. What a weird, somewhat embarrassing game, huh? I guess I want these pushes out of here. Just like the Veils and the Needles are probably pretty clean swapped. And the Needle being able to stop Karn is nice. I could bring in like 1 or 2 Nature's Claim. I guess push is also kind of an important answer to Dothy Voidwalker, huh? They have to have it on turn 2, and I could even like still fill the yard enough to delve something out, even if they have Voidwalker. Feed the Swarm hits creatures, push can't. Yeah, Feed the Swarm hits creatures, push can't like Murktide Regent. You only have to take 8 damage when you cast it. You only have to take 8 damage when you feed the Swarm Murktide. One thing I always really liked about coffers against Blood Moon is if you're just like you just tutor a bunch of swamps aggressively and you just play your spells, and you don't have to play Feed the Swarm. I probably have to keep this. I think I want to be able to fetch to fill the yard for Delve Creature here. What are we cooking with? We're cooking with demons. And dragons. Oh, they do have the Voidwalker. But this Thought Scour is very, very clutch here, so I can at least fill up the yard enough that I can cast a Delve Creature, although for more mana than I would usually like. But it's castable. Castable. We can suspend Profane Tutor this turn. I don't know if I'm supposed to bring pushes back in, or if I'm just supposed to like ignore this card and then, especially me being on the play. Okay, I'll bring the pushes back in. I'll bring them back in if we go to game 3. They also don't have another land though. I don't think I want to Otherworldly Gaze. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get an Archon, and it may be a little too slow. So they hit me for 6. I Profane Tutor this turn for Delve Creature. I spend my entire turn casting the Delve Creature. Can also Otherworldly Gaze if I want. My opponent's gonna have 5 mana next turn, unfortunately. Wait, hold on. Okay, so never mind. I thought that there was like, I don't know how they had land Expedition map, but obviously they cast Voidwalker instead of casting the map, and they didn't have a land in their hand. I don't think either of the Delve creatures are really any different. This one has flying. I think I'd rather have blue cards in the deck for Force than black for Grief right now. Okay. That's actually an insane draw. Won't they just cast Profane Tutor, Voidwalker, and answer my threat? What do you want me to do? Literally, what do you want me to do? Draw Force of Negation, maybe. But also, like they might not be able to answer a Gurmag Angler. Like if they maybe they have Feed the Swarm still in their deck and they take 7. But I don't know. With them having missing their land drops, it was harder. Oh, can't force a Golos, huh? Oh, now they just sack Golos. to my Archon and I die. Bummer. Alright. Let's go to game 3. Push is coming back in, I guess. Oh, wait, 3 copies. 2 or 3 copies. Don't need the needle. Consume a gaze, consume a grief. I think force is better than grief, anyways. You can't. The Griselbrand lifelink doesn't work because lifelink does not. You can't block Voidwalker. Can't block Voidwalker. Good hand. Obviously, we need to find a Overgrown Tomb, hopefully, or a black land and a green land. Being on the play also means that Dothy Voidwalker is not super duper likely to be able to disrupt this one. Is it possible to make Bitter Blossom a good card? That's the thing about brewing. You cannot make a card good. Cards are either good or bad. You know what I mean? Cards are either good or bad. I don't think I'm supposed to force this. And I don't ever. Oh no, I milled my Overgrown Tomb. That's pretty bad. So now I can't get Overgrown Tomb here, but I can get a turn 2 Gurmag into play. And I can have with Force up, and I can have Otherworldly Gaze to dig for another green source. Potentially. Yeah, if they had played Urborg turn 1, then we could have gotten Breeding Pool. I didn't think of it like that. Is Bitter Blossom a good card? No, Bitter Blossom is horrible. But yeah, this is very common conception. I gotta make this card I like good, but again, cards are either good or cards are bad, and Bitter Blossom is a very weak card. Aren't good and bad contextual? Of course they're contextual, and in the context of Modern, Bitter Blossom is bad. And usually fair cards like Bitter Blossom are a bit easier to evaluate, if that makes sense, where bad cards like synergistic cards are cards that you can power up a bit through synergies or become more powerful through synergies. Bitter Blossom does have some synergies, but it is mostly just a fair card, and it's not that good of a fair card. Okay, found the green source. When Search for Viscata was broken to Modern. My opinion on Search for Viscata, honestly, is that it was never playable. I know that Blue-White Control very regularly played it. I always, when my Blue-White opponent cast Search for Viscata, breathed a sigh of relief that they didn't do literally anything else that turn. And I would just kill them a lot of the time. Only 1 grief. I guess I could consider looking for another black card. That's a lot of fatal pushes to still have in the deck post-board opponent. I guess I'll take Damnation. No, I want to take Turok. I would love for their whole turn to just be Damnation. I will look for a black card though. Don't find it. Let's discard land, Thought Scour, land. Yeah, we'll find another land off the Griselbrand draw next turn. Now, I don't think I'm... No, I guess forcing Profane Tutor stops them from getting coffers here. And coffers could let them Archon. Yeah, that's probably fine. Oh, they drew coffers for turn. Too easy. Nothing. Their hand is push cottage. So not gonna grief, I guess. Okay, Veil is nice. Veil stops Invoke Despair. We've already used the damnation. There any good 9s? Nah, not really. Neoform and Archon for lethal. I pitched the Archon to Grief earlier. Do you think this deck is very competitive or more fun than good? I don't know. I've played a lot of this deck. It's kind of hard for me to say. Fuck. I don't know. It's hard. It's a little early to say, I think. Okay. Unfuck. The deck is doing a lot of powerful things. Triple Force, love it. Only 44 cards drawn. Oh wait, great idea, GG. GG. GG to you too, opponent. GG to you too. Triple Force, love it. Love it. Thank you, opponent. GG to you too. I've seen Dingo do that a few times. It looks like okay. Because like again, like one thing that like the persist deck like needs a lot of time is like redundancy to persist, and so Neoform being redundancy to persist is kind of interesting. Although I will say like Neoforming into Archon is like just not as good as Neoforming into Griselbrand most of the time, I think. Okay, glad to be able to play against the Ragavan for once. I think we just graveyard all of these. I could keep a Murktide, but I really want to be able to... I need to be able to turn to the Angler, so I just have to graveyard super aggressively. Oh wow, that is the draw, I guess. So if I cast Consider, I have to bin the top card, and I have to Gurmag Angler here. But I'd also rather pitch this to Force than to Consider, probably. Maybe not. Sure. Oh my gosh, what did I just say? What did I just say? Damn it. What did I just say? I have to bin the card. I'm so dumb. Hopefully they just cast Blood Moon. Oh, maybe I was supposed to cast this in response to the Ragavan trigger. I don't know. There's not much they can really hit, but... Oh wait, they're not Murktide. They're playing Wood of Foothills. Gigantha into the hand. Okay, let's just find a land and put Griselbrand into play. Cool. Graveyard. Top, so I can just keep the Archon in the deck. Can shuffle it away with the Neoform. And I think we'll draw 7, so we can maybe grief our opponent here. Good draw 7 anyways. No grief, but we have we have 3 Force Negation, only 2 Force Negations up right now. Not very good. So only have 2. Yeah, maybe let's just do another 7 here. Oh, they're Domain Zoo, of course. I missed the Gigantha at first too. Tribal Flames me. I will force this. I want to keep the Neoform so I can put an Archon into play this next turn. They almost definitely have a bolt in their hand here. Alright. This deck does some pretty powerful things. Okay, so... Domain Zoo's interaction is going to be like Rest in Peace, Stubborn Denial, Remand, Leyline Binding. They also have Scion as like a Nature's Claim target. So I think I'm bringing in Nature's Claims. I think forces to be able to force some of the interaction and be able to like binding on their turn, being able to force Rest in Peace is fine. Maybe I'll cut 1 copy. Maybe I'll go down like 2 Griefs, 1 Gaze, and then Flusterstorm does stop like Tribal Flames. Veil Summer is better against the counter magic, I guess, but honestly, if we're veiling a counterspell in Neoform, then the Flusterstorms are about the same, and these have a little bit of extra equity. It's not like the Murktide matchup where like you're fighting through like tons and tons of counter magic either. You're like somewhat limited. Are 4 Force of Negations there to keep defense against removal for Gristle after resolving a Neoform? That yes and no. So like this draw 7 ability, like if you're just gonna draw 7, you need to be able to use those cards, and so protecting Griselbrand is part of it, but the Grief and the Force of Negation lets you use the cards to interact with your opponent. And so because this deck can't combo kill turning Griselbrands, it has to interact with its opponent those cards. You can't just like draw 14 and then you can't do anything with the cards and you just die, you know. Maybe just play 3 Nature's Claims. Let's do that. Banebot, 17 months, thank you. Let's mulligan this one. Think Subtlety is an option? I don't usually see Subtlety in Domain Zoo, so I'm not expecting it, but you never know, I guess. But against Domain Zoo, not worried about Blood Moon at all. Breeding Pool. The most wild Nacatl I've ever seen. So I think I'll let this hit me, and then if my opponent has a better creature to push, most likely Kavu, Territorial Kavu, Domain Kavu, whatever that card's called. I'll push that instead, especially because this gets bricked by my Delve creatures. Although I do need to kind of draw a cantrip. I do have the Kavu. The Domain Kavu is its name. So if I go fetch Otherworldly Gaze, I could Gurmag Angler this turn. Okay, so I think I just cast Otherworldly Gaze. If I don't like any card on the top, and that would mostly mean I don't see Neoform because I'm probably bidding any non-Neoform card, then I can fetch Shock Overgrown Tomb, play Gurmag Angler. But if I like a card on top, I'm not able to play Gurmag Angler anyways, so I could just like not fetch. So I think I don't fetch first. And I do find the Neoform, so we're going to go Graveyard, top, play Darkslick Shores, and the next turn we can. Well, I guess we can only Neoform next turn if we get to force something. So I guess best case scenario, they play like Rest in Peace, we force, and then we get to put a Griselbrand into play. Oh yeah, them Dashing Ragavan would be pretty bad. Okay. So we draw Neoform. I kind of think I'm just passing here again. Well, the problem is if I play this Gurmag Angler, I'm kind of playing into Leyline Binding. I guess I could play around that a little bit by just like 3 mana Gurmag Angler, leaving Otherworldly Gaze in the graveyard and still having this Murktide in my hand. But the fact that I just can do it all next turn and not play into my opponent's open mana at all, maybe they tap out. I think this is going to be a bit better. Yeah, remand is somewhat likely too. I think I'm just supposed to pass. Maybe I can like find a Flusterstorm or something too. Once you force the binding, you can only cast Force for 0 mana on your opponent's turn. And it's currently was my turn. I think I forced this. I don't love it, but seems like the play. Graveyard all these. Not a very good draw. Seems like we're very likely just gonna have to jam. I can play around Stub by like waiting a turn here, but the problem is like I just get got by like everything else, so I think we have to jam. Very unlikely to work. Yeah. To game 3 we go. So maybe on the play, maybe I'm not feeling these griefs that much. Maybe we just cut the griefs. We go more in on the protection spells. I think I like Flusterstorm more than Veil because it counters at least, it counters the Tribal Flames and burn stuff too, but maybe that's not something I should care as much about. Path of Peril good. It misses the Scion of Draco. We have a Griselbrand here. I think we should mulligan. Not that far away from being a good hand, though. This hand's not that far either. Let's keep it back second Shores. Just need a Delve Creature and some cards in the yard. Okay, like they can answer a turn 2 rip with this hand now. Grief is better hardcast than the main. I mean, Grief is always better hardcast, but it costs 4 mana to hardcast, you know what I mean? Because I'm kind of confused what you're trying to say. Weird game so far. No point having no turn 1 or 2 plays. Can't push that though. Now their Stubborn Denial is very live if that's what they're on, which I think is probably what we're supposed to read them as having here. We could double push it. I wish. Dang it. Yeah, just need double Revolt. I guess I have Nature's Claim. Feeling pretty bad about our spot. Opponent's draw definitely lined up really well against mine. The thing about Nature's Claim is we kind of have to like use the first Nature's Claim on Scion. And that doesn't feel like a winning line. Oh, right on time, Force of Negation. Alright, I yield. Right, mulligan this. Well, we're playing against like a Hero deck. Put back a push. Maybe we're playing against Elementals. That'd be cool. Looks like we are. Maybe Cat Tribal. I'm a Titan heavy modern meta. I usually play Affinity. What deck matches up favorably against Titan? Mill is the best deck against Titan. Get a Voice of Resurgence. Okay, love to see a Neoform. Is there any way I can also find get this Thought Scour though? I don't think so. I think I just graveyard it. Graveyard. Top. Draw. Oh, sorry. I thought I couldn't cast this Murktide for some reason. Turn 2. Yeah, they have the turn 3 here. Hopefully they don't have a freaking Solitude, but we'll see. Their deck's definitely different from the version I've been playing. I wasn't playing any fetch lands, so they may be less Solitude heavy. Another Harbinger. Risen Reef. I think I have seen the Floor Basics for Phyrexia. They've been doing such a good job with the Floor Basics for a long time, honestly. And just the basics in general. The mech lands look great. Is Mill actually good against Hammer? It's probably okay. Do they have 2 bindings? Okay, that's actually fine though. Just very happy they couldn't binding this turn. Okay, now we just keep the stub up. Beautiful hand. Okay, this is a bit of a punt, I think. I think they should be getting Temple Garden, then playing Voice, then playing... Or I guess they have to have a Hallowed Fountain, but Hallowed Fountain into Voice into Binding is like way better sequence for them. So begins an interesting version of Elemental. So they're playing Omnath, they're playing main deck Leyline Binding, but they're still on like the Flamekin Harbinger Risen Reef plan. I imagine that their like graveyard interaction is more likely Endurance than it is Rest in Peace. This deck's actually pretty good against Endurance because they have to do it before you cast your Delve creature. No, I wasn't playing Bindings. I was playing I was playing all tribal lands and lands that tapped for whites. So yeah, like very panless mana and like better mana than the fetch land base, honestly, I think. Would Founding the Third Path be good here? I think I tried it in an earlier version. I thought it was okay. I thought it felt a little slow. And I really wanted just to play these 12 cantrips to maximize the ability to turn to a Delve creature. Because like just turn toing a Delve creature and like being able to block is really important. If you were going to play, you'd play it over Otherworldly Gaze, probably. Aper, 13 months, thank you. March can't cast Profane Tutor, right? Or sorry, Founding can't cast. If it could, it would be broken. But I'm just trying to remember the text on the card. I know that it can't. I know that it can't. Obviously, like it would just be everywhere if it could cast the suspend cards. It's mana cost 1 or 2 is the line of text. Okay, yeah. Have to compute a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in like 3 Nature's Claims. I think I'm gonna trim 4th copy of Fatal Push. On the draw, we can cut the Profane Tutor against the deck that likely has Teferi. We may be able to cut an Archon, and probably shouldn't cut an Archon. Cut the 4th Force. Maybe we'll play only 2 forces. We have 4th Push on the draw. They might have like Flusterstorms and stuff on the board too. I don't know exactly what I do about that. Let's trade this. How does the Elemental Vial deck fare against the current meta? It's been doing well. I'm 13-3 with it. It doesn't honestly feel like it has too many huge weaknesses, but big mana can be a problem, but you are main decking 4 Fulminator Mage. And there's probably like a combo deck. Like we lost to Mono Green Devotion, we lost to a Teamer Pile, and then we lost. I don't know what the other loss was to. It might have been like Rakdos, but I'm not really that scared of the matchup. They grab an Endurance again. Endurance not really that scary against us. Okay, I think I will Grief next turn though. Think it could be a Career Brawl for 1k? I think Elementals is a really good deck. I don't know if I want to play Elementals tomorrow the challenge or if I want to play Heliod, but I think both of those decks are powerful and underrated. I went 13-3 with Elementals this week. I went 12-3 with Heliod. Both decks I think are sleepers that I'm currently believing in. Okay, Delve Creatures is what we needed. We can actually cast Murktide this turn if my opponent doesn't pitch Endurance here. But they can't pitch Endurance, so just take the Solitude. Get a Breeding Pool. Imagine if I could double Grief here. This deck is definitely doing some powerful things. I'm having a hard time evaluating it still, I think. Will I play any of those decks on stream? I played those decks on stream a lot this week. I did a full day of Heliod, I did a full day of Elementals. And I'm going to play one of the 2 in the challenge tomorrow. Any thoughts on Crab's deck? I think Crab is worse than like the cantrips. Wow, we can even play around a top deck something. Streams usually like 4 to 6 hours, sometimes shorter, very rarely longer. Longer on the tournaments, I guess. Wondering if Grief is really worth it. I mean, I think like just you need 0 mana interactive cards when you are Griselbranding, and I know that Grief is a card that like is not good, super fair, but you're not playing it fairly here. You're recouping the card disadvantage really well with Griselbrand, and it helps you force through your combo. What did they draw? I guess they're just gonna ephemerate the... No, they're not gonna ephemerate. Alright, none of these cards matter. Their hand is, again, doesn't really matter, so we don't need to dig for another Grief. Do you have a Cyber Guide for regular food? It's a little out of date, but it is on Channel Fireball. Alright, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Okay, gonna keep this. I wish this was a breeding pool, but what can you do? Another Kihira deck. Kind of nice to see Kihira and like think that it might be elementals now, but more likely to be blue-white control. In for a game, huh? Blue-white's probably a pretty bad matchup. We've got a lot of tools against them, though. I'm not trying to summon the Chalice to their hand, but we would get pretty wrecked by Chalice. Build over our Archon and a Gurmag. Okay, there's a Gurmag. So I could jam a Gurmag this turn. I think I want to maybe try to consider for a blue source and be able to cast a Scour. Okay, don't need a third Neoform. Okay, there's a blue source. And then we're gonna be looking for Grief and be able to pitch the push and hopefully force this through. Okay. Zoggoth Triumph. Build over a Grief. As long as we're not... We also build over Otherworldly Gaze, which is kind of nice. Okay. we only have one threat in the deck. That's not ideal. I guess I'm going to be Thought Scouring my opponent since I have plenty of cards in my yard. I think this turn I will scour my opponent, cast Otherworldly Gaze, mostly digging for a Grief to try to get a Griselbrand into play. And if I can get Griselbrand into play and just find a bunch of Force of Negations, I guess that's even weak to the Solitudes that they can have here. Maybe they'll just jam a Jace the Mind Sculptor. There's no chance, I guess, against what they've seen so far. Maybe we'll draw 2 Griefs. Grief from Scour, Grief from Flashback Gaze. Okay, there's a Grief. I'm not sure what to do about these other cards. I think I keep them both. Be pretty silly to think my opponent can have only one piece of interaction here, but so we need to have happen. Wait, they have Chalice? Fuck. So we can get a Griselbrand into play here. We can get a Griselbrand into play. The frustrating thing is that I drew both of my other threats, and so even though like if I hadn't drawn both of my threats, I could take the counterspell, Griselbrand, draw like 14 cards, and set up to like do it again next turn. But instead, I think I just lose. I think I'm probably just going through the motions for no reason here. There's also like I don't think much point in like waiting either. I don't think we can. Yeah, I think this game we can't realistically win with Gurmag, Murktide Beats. Maybe in a different game. Okay, my opponent let the draw happen. So I'm gonna Grief them, and I need them to cast Leyline Binding and not Solitude. I guess if I draw 14, I actually can win with the... Opponent is asleep at the wheel here. I don't know what to say. Again, this does happen sometimes when you play decks like this that your opponents don't know what to do. Yeah, my opponent goes, "What is happening, lol? You're not casting your spells is what's happening." Wild. I think I forced this. Pitch the Neoform since I'm out of targets. Yeah, sometimes just do it, I guess. Just go through the motions. Just go through the motions. They just let me do it. They just let me do everything. Oh man. My opponent's typing in the Discord, man, Spike has this crazy brew, there's nothing I could have done. Nothing I could have done at all. So I think we keep Archon in the deck so you can kill a Teferi. I'm gonna cut the Profane Tutor. Go down to like a couple Otherworldly Gaze. Bring in like 3 Nature's Claim. 3 Veil of Summer. 1 Flusterstorm. 2 Flusterstorm. Looks okay. Yeah, they were locked in on that Memory Deluge. They were locked in on like Deluge finding a white card, I guess. I don't know. Chat. Is there any chance adding an Emrakul or something might be worthwhile to reshuffle your Graven situations? There's no chance. I don't think so. It's like obviously it stinks when you draw too many of your targets, but then you also have like another horrible card to to draw into in these spots. I think mostly like you're just trying to be fast, you have a lot of card selection, and you're trying to get your thing into play before you draw all your copies, and that usually does work, and when it doesn't, it's okay. I think that when you already have like 3 dead cards in the deck like this, you need to diminish the rest of the number of dead cards in your deck. No! Why would y'all talk about this? Whatever, it's gonna get 3. I know we could theoretically win. Literally, of course, as soon as I'm having the conversation about the dead cards and about like the Griselbrand in the deck, it's just like immediately draw both. But you also can't play Emrakul in a deck that like needs to keep its graveyard full for Delve creatures too. And so like there's no Brainstorm in the format. You use Brainstone. That card's not very good. You can also just mulligan hands like this too, you know. I think you just have to accept that you have like some degree of a fail rate, and that's okay. When I'm in game 2, I just drew both my Griselbrands immediately because someone in chat asked, "Spike, what happens if you drop both your Griselbrands?" I'm like, "Oh, it's not that important." And immediately draw both of them. I think that if you like add some like failsafe for that, though, you do make the deck worse overall. Any hardcast griefers in the chat? Okay, I like drawing that Force of Negation. I think I'm gonna chill the grief and try to like grief with Veil Summer up potentially. It's like a Shark Typhoon. Sure, just down, float a mana. One of Memory's Journey. Like, I just don't want to register a dead card like Memory's Journey. Also, like, you have to, if you draw Griselbrand and Archon, those don't shuffle them from your hand back into the library. Shuffling them from the graveyard back into the library is like much less relevant than getting from the hand into the library. You know what I mean? I think I'm just still chilling. Planning on going to SCG-Con in February. What deck do I recommend? Currently play Soul Hoarder. Soul Hoarder's fine. I don't know. February is a long way away. Like the modern metagame will be different. I'm really liking food. I'm liking Heliod. I'm liking elementals. I'm liking mostly those decks at the moment. But I think Soul Hoarder is probably good too. I haven't played it in a little while. Just been on to other stuff, you know. So I could go Otherworldly Gaze into a Delve threat. I think I'm just passing. Yeah, discard Solitude the hand size. You love to see it. Main phase dress down. What is happening? They find their land. I'm kind of looking for a land, I guess. It's a tap land. I don't have a shuffler either to keep this Griselbrand in the deck. I guess I'm just going to bin it. I'm just going to bin all these. You do have, you know, of course, your backup plan of just casting Gurmag Anglers and Regents, which is a very good backup plan, of course. Ooh. Can I keep all of these Veils? I feel like I can keep all these Veils. I think I can bin this. I think my opponent is very counterspell heavy here, and I can play a Delve threat this turn. I guess it should be the Angler, since I lose my ability to hardcast Force. Probably not hardcasting Force anyways. Angler, since I want to have instant sorceries for the Regent. Maybe they just binding. I have a Nature's Claim though if they have binding. Okay. I don't want a Nature's Claim now because I would kind of prefer them use a piece of counter magic. Hopefully they counter back. Oh, no. Alright, I guess I need to cycle or I need to Nature's Claim the binding and then cycle Veil of Summer. Alright, I'm probably having to hardcast a Grief this turn. Obviously, I would prefer to do it with Veil up. My opponent also didn't cast a counter spell, but my opponent has also been known so far to just not cast their spells. Alright, fair enough. Five cards in my opponent's hand. I feel like we're getting solituded most likely this turn. Maybe not. We get to get the Force plus Veil something. Like if they go to Fairy, counter back, and a Veil. That'd be awesome. Canister, thank you for the raid. Hope you're doing well today. We're neoforming some Griselbrands into play today. So hopefully my opponent doesn't have two more counter spells, but hopefully they have one more counter spell and I get to Veil here. I'll cycle another Veil if they don't counter back, because surely they just don't have it, right? If they don't. Yikes. I guess we're getting the permission out of the hand, and we can probably kill the Narset with the Gurmag. I'm really surprised they didn't counter the Force on their earlier Teferi. Maybe this is just like binding on Angler too. Kind of looks like that's what it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. There's like there's some confusion here. Okay, Dovin's Veto. Okay. Narset resolves. Days Undoing revealed, but I can just kill the Narset. And then we have the decision to play a big Murktide and have lethal in play next turn. We'll see if they Solitude this, then we're gonna definitely have to hardcast Grief. Griefing definitely feels like the safer play. It's like way better against Verdict, it's way better against second Narset in hand. Okay. Rewarded. Kahira in the hands. So we know one of the last cards is Counterspell, so I think I would be inclined to get some value out of my Veil here. Don't really know how many verdicts they're gonna have post board. I don't know how my opponent is ever conflicted about this Counterspell here, but my opponent, again, they've been a little unsure how to play this matchup, I guess. There we go. Third Veil of Summer later. We could actually get some value out of one. But let's draw a blue card. Maybe have Force up. Oh, that's a blue card. Sadly, we're 1 mana short of putting a Griselbrand into play. See if they go to 1. They probably should block. So they really have to draw a Supreme Verdict here. I don't know how many Supreme Verdicts they're going to have in their deck post-board. But maybe some number. One of their cards is an island. Right, GG. GG's. Okay, we are 3-1 this league, although that match was a little wild. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. This hand can turn to Gurmag Angler potentially. I am definitely hoping that my opponent's deck is weak to Fatal Push, but if not, we can pitch one of them to Grieve. Infect. Rhinos. Rhinos will probably be tricky. I imagine they have a lot of really premium interaction against us. It'll be an interesting game. Build over Griselbrand. But we can go Grief. Grief, Otherworldly Gaze, Gurmag. Look for Neoform. It's a really good draw. So they have Ardent Plea, 2 Furies, Fire Ice. No, Gurmag Angler is a 5/5. Rhinos are just 4/4s. I think I'll take the Fire Ice. Okay. Not a disaster because the third card here is a fetch land. We get to go top. The next turn we flash back the... Oh no, we can't flash back since we have... Oh, what a disaster. Okay, pass back. Because I need to shuffle away the Archon of the Griselbrand. I need to shuffle away the Archon of the Griselbrand, which I can do because I kept Misty Rainforest on top. Thank you, Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, then there's Neoform, so we'll go Graveyard, this... Guess we just want a card in the yard. Of all non-instants and sorceries with the Angler. And what are the odds that our Rhino's opponent top decked well? 0, roughly. Oh, I mean, one of their 2 draws was a Crashing Footfall. So their hand is Fury, Misty Rainforest, Ardent Plea, Mystery card. Yeah, I guess they only have one Mystery card, and if it's a Force, they probably still play the Ardent Plea and like a Neoform. Right, so their hand is currently Fury, Mystery card, can't be Force. So we should be good to go here, which is a very big roller coaster swing from like 2 turns ago when I thought we saw the other 2 big threats on top of our library and despaired a bit. I guess I could have attacked and then pushed a Rhino after blocks too. Maybe that was a bit better. We'll probably be fine. Joey, thank you for the 14 months. Appreciate you. I'm gonna go to 2 probably. You never went to 2 before, kid? I was born at 2 life. So I think I'm going to go Grief, evoke one of the 2 pushes, fetch a swamp, Gurmag Angler, push Gurmag Angler. Or is it better to have stub up? I guess it depends on what we look at, what we see their hand. Did the fire so scary? No, we have counter magic for Fire Ice. Yeah, this deck's pretty sick. I've been working on it for a long time. It started off as a Simic deck with Tolarian Terror. So this has been like since last set release. But I think the Black Splash is better than the like straight Simic version I started with. And then the Black Splash is really hard to hammer out. 2 Furies, 2 Furies. Yeah, so with Force of Negation up, I don't really see a reason to need to hold up stub. Oh, where's my swamp? Oh, I'm not playing the swamp anymore. That's right. We added a forest. So I guess we do, in fact, hold the stub up. Okay, although now, hold on. So now if I push this, they attack, they can Fury me. If they draw a red card. I think it's okay. I could just still, like, I could just put an Archon into play next turn or something. I get to gain a lot of life. Is there any way to play around that? Not really. Although maybe it's better to play a Gurmag Angler than it is to push a Rhino. I think I buy that. Yeah, turns tend to take a while when you have 1,000 cards in your hand. Discard second Murktide, gaze, consider. I think, yeah. So he has Fury Mystery card. They attack with both. We get to eat both Rhinos, and they use their whole turn to kill my Griselbrand, and then we can just, you know, Neoform next turn. That was a known card, so they're gonna still Fury Mystery card. Sorry, I guess it was Fury Irrelevant Caverns Mystery card. If they attack with just one Exalted Rhino, I think I still block with the Griselbrand and gain 8. Nah, I could trade. Reminds me of Young Frankenstein deck I built in Legacy. I don't know what Young Frankenstein describes. Yeah, I'll just block with the Angler. And if they have Violent Outburst, I can counter the Outburst so I don't die to the Trample. I've seen the movie. When someone says I built a Young Frankenstein deck, though, I don't know what that means. So I think they drew a red card. I can consider here if it's a Fire Ice, I can force. It's not the worst. Not the worst. Okay, so I do still have the Archon in the deck, right? Yeah, the other Griselbrand is gone, the Archon is still in, so I guess I'm just gonna go shock this in, Murktide, Neoform, and Archon of Cruelty into play, and then hold up stub / push. Hope I'm right about this. Cool. I did check. Okay, can we Griselbrand again if we want? Don't really need to. Have everything we can need, really. I have something. I don't know why. I don't know why nothing got cast before now. They acted like they had something there. All right, Flusterstorm's in. Push out. It's gonna be a bit more complicated than that, I think. Because we could have Nature's Claim for Leyline Binding. We have other answers to, I guess not true answers. Yeah, just having like 1 or 2 Nature's Claims so that like we Griselbrand and they Binding, then we can draw into Claim is nice. Maybe just 1. 1 or, yeah, 1 or 2. Veil is okay. I think maybe one Veil. Don't really ever want to draw 2. We can play Path of Peril, but I think like our creatures all just like block their Rhinos really well, which is actually really cool. I think I'm down to just like cut a Profane Tutor, cut a Otherworldly Gaze, click submit. Yeah, like our creatures are all just bigger than rhinos, so I don't think we need the path. Don't they use Leyline of the Void? Sometimes it's endurance. I guess maybe I should have a bit of a more hedge against Leyline, huh? I think that actually makes a lot of sense. Then maybe game 3 we see things that don't imply that. I don't know if I've cast the Profane Tutor on stream. I've cast it off stream a little bit. Okay, this hand has the combo, has Nature's Claim. Obviously, I'm hoping to not have to like Otherworldly Gaze for a green source for Leyline. Okay, cool. Hard to dislike this hand, really. I'm gonna Grief pitch Archon. I just don't know when. I think probably next turn. Is this like just using Griselbrand as a card advantage card? Yeah. Well, but it's nice is like you can draw into Forces and Griefs to like use those cards to, you know, interact with your opponent. But yeah, there's no like combo kill. You just turn your Griselbrand sideways. I think we keep the Consider. Hope. Also, only one Griselbrand left in the deck again. Well, as per usual, apparently. If we draw a fetch land here, we're in really good shape. Their hand is Dead Gone, which is kind of annoying. Force of Negation, Charlotte's Agent, Violent Outburst. Let's take the Force, I guess. I really want to draw a fetch land off this Consider and just play Gurmag Angler, be able to go off next turn. Okay, this is fine, this is fine. I was thinking that this was not enough cards in the yard. Is enough cards in the yard. Overgrown Tomb here. This deck is pretty sick. Would you ever want a single rights to get Griselbrand from the yard? Not really. Not in this version, I think. I dead my Angler. I break into format? I don't think so. Modern is a really well balanced format. It's hard to break. You can bend it a bit, I guess. What happens when you don't find the card Neoform? Well, you have Gurmag Anglers and Murktides and Fatal Pushes and Forces and Griefs and stuff. And you have a lot of card selection to dig for the Neoform too. So they didn't Charlotte's Agent. Did you force good beats? Now, I'm not going to draw cards now because my opponent want to bounce this. So I want to be able to draw in response and Flusterstorm or Stubborn Denial the Dead Gone. Well, Gone is 3 mana, so they couldn't do it last turn. So we have 14 looks at an answer to this. I'll go ahead and get an island now. Then a little bit. And we have six answers, so we're very likely to hit here. Ding, ding, ding. Why did they bounce the Gurmag on my upkeep? I mean, people just don't make the correct plays against new combo decks like this, usually. It's just hard to, you know what I mean? Don't think I need second Nature's Claim. Yeah, they should have done it on my upkeep, and they haven't ever played against the deck before. The Brewer's Advantage. What was our loss to this league? Can't remember. I'm sure someone in chat knows. Not discarding Neoform when about targets. I was thinking that it being a blue card for Force was more relevant. Then the second Nature's Claim doesn't obviously matter almost at all. Alright. No Leyline Binding? No Leyline Binding. We gotta draw another Grief. There's a grief. Any black cards? There's a black card. Yeah, sadly our other our Archon is gone, so no Archon for us this turn. I guess I could just Nature's Claim the binding, actually. Alright, pretty fast. Match 5, got the 4-1. Feeling good. Really good week for Brews so far. Really good weeks for Brews. With the Heliod deck, with the Elementals, with this deck. Good week. Oh, anything about the chest from yesterday that we couldn't open. And nothing real. Okay, we have a Hex Catcher in a Wasteland, 100 play points. Not amazing for 10 chests. Junkie, 4 months. Let's run it back one more time. At least one more time. Get the prediction paid out. Let's do a new league prediction too, which have been a little less cursed lately.